Hello and welcome to our lesson on the 4 fair use factors. As we explore fair use as it applies to digital media, it can seem that we have a lot of questions to answer. This video will acquaint you with each of the 4 fair use factors and the key questions and issues involved with each factor. To start, our core question is whether or not our use of digital media is in line with the fair use doctrine. Unfortunately, the only way to get a definitive answer on whether a particular use is a fair use is to have it resolved in federal court. Judges use 4 factors to resolve fair use disputes. It's important to understand that these factors are only guidelines that courts are free to adapt to particular situations on a case-by-case basis. In other words, a judge has a great deal of freedom when making a fair use determination, so the outcome in any given case can be hard to predict. In a 1994 case, the Supreme Court emphasized this first factor, the purpose and character of your use of digital media, as being an important indicator of fair use. At issue is whether the material has been used to help create something new or merely copied verbatim into another work. When taking portions of copyrighted work, ask yourself the following questions. Has the material you have taken from the original work been transformed by adding new expression or meaning? Was value added to the original by creating new information, new aesthetics, new insights, and understandings? Purposes such as scholarship, research, or education may also qualify as transformative uses because the work is the subject of review or commentary. One must also consider the nature of the copyrighted work. Because the dissemination of facts or information benefits the public, you have more leeway to copy from factual works such as biographies than you do from fictional works such as plays or novels. In addition, you will have a stronger case of fair use if you copy the material from a published work rather than an unpublished work. The scope of fair use is narrower for unpublished works because an author has the right to control the first public appearance of his or her expression. The less you take, the more likely that your copying will be excused as a fair use. However, even if you take a small portion of a work, your copying will not be a fair use if the portion taken is the heart of the work. In other words, you are more likely to run into problems if you take the most memorable aspect of a work. For example, it would probably not be a fair use to copy the words "I can't get no satisfaction" from the song Satisfaction. The last fair use factor is the effect of the use upon the potential market. This is important. Your use deprives the copyright owner of income or undermines a new or potential market for the copyrighted work. Depriving a copyright owner of income is very likely to trigger a lawsuit. This is true even if you are not competing directly with the original work. For example, in one case, Rogers vs. Coons, an artist used a copyrighted photograph without permission as the basis for wood sculptures, copying all elements of the photo. The artist earned several $100,000 selling the sculptures. When the photographer sued, the artist claimed the sculptures were a fair use because the photographer would never have considered making sculptures. The court disagreed, stating that it did not matter whether the photographer had considered making sculptures. What mattered was that a potential market for sculptures of the photograph existed. Fair use is a complex and important concept in digital media. For more information, please make sure to complete your assigned readings.